Hello, my name is Steven, and welcome to the Pixel Art 101 workshop. As part of this workshop, we will go through a lot of the requirements that you would need to be able to create beautiful pixel art assets for your games. We will start off by explaining what is pixel art and why do we care about learning about it. Next, we will go through the available programs that we can use to create pixel art. I myself am going to use Aseprite, but if you have other preferences or you want to try some of the other programs, I will go through a lot of the programs that you can easily and a lot of times freely use to create pixel art. After that, we will go through the different assets that you might need in your game, starting with some of the UI. We will create a health bar. After that, we will try to create a weapon and armor. If you want to have an inventory system, we will go through how to create tiles, so you can easily make a whole level out of them. We will briefly talk about how to create different animations like walk cycles or movement in the background to make our games more lively. We will touch upon the different art styles that you can employ using pixel art and also how to start from scratch. So, what is pixel art? Well, it started in the mid to late 70s and the beginning of 80s. At the time, computers were just starting to have screens that had a high enough resolution to show basic images, basic photos. And at the time, a lot of people wanted to create some rudimentary art to, for example, as we see here, show different icons or visualize something on the desktop or images. Pixel art really exploded when the different gaming consoles started to pop in. Stuff like the Atari 2600 or the Atari Amiga, and later on the NES. And in the beginning, because of the limitations of the hardware, pixel art was very rudimentary, one or two colors, not a lot in the terms of shadows or in the term of lighting. But later on, as newer consoles became more and more powerful, with more and more graphics hardware, we could see pixel art that resembles what we imagine today. Even in those early times, pixel art was very popular compared to traditional drawn art because of a number of factors. It was fast to display, especially when you had a very limited console power. It required not a lot of space to store both images but also animations. The first Mario sprites were literally a couple of bytes each. Another thing that we're gonna talk a lot through this workshop is that small changes give dramatic effects in the images. So a lot of the earliest Mario walking cycles were just changing a couple of pixels here and there, or to make him stand still, walk, jump, and so on. It's easy to animate. We'll soon see why. And of course, it can be very beautiful and skilled hands. But what is pixel art? Well, it's the most basic explanation is the digital art using raster form or pixels. That is in contrast to vector images. So with Raster images or pixel images, you lose details when you zoom in or you scale it, which of course in some of these kind of traditional images, for example, photography, that's a problem. But for pixel art, it's actually a strength because we want to work on by pixel level. And again, pixel art is the art of placing pixels, and small changes can create dramatic and big effects. Here, for example, we can see that in motion. We have a parrot that looks very calm, like it's sitting and just minding its own business. But if we just added some pixels here on its beak and some pixels on its head, we can change its own, the whole way that it's sitting. Now it looks more like it's ready to fly away. It's seen something, and so on. But what is not pixel art? Well, if you ask 10 people, you're going to get 10 different answers. And traditionalists would say that pixel art is just you placing pixels on a canvas. Everything else is modern and it cannot be pixel art by itself. Well, I would say that that's not true, especially with some of the games that we will discuss later on. You'll see that combining modern techniques with pixel art can produce really beautiful, really imaginative results. So some stuff that you can combine with pixel art is traditional gradients, traditional dithering, and transparency, digital effects like bloom, like lens flares, on top of produced pixel art. Again, I want to hammer in the point. Why should we care about pixel art and why are we doing this course? Well, first off, it's very easy to learn. Pixel art can be mastered by people that are not artists. You don't need a steady hand. You just need to be patient and you need to try to visualize what you want to do. You can slowly start to build pixel art, start to build animations from it. It's literally the art for programmers. And also, it doesn't hurt that nostalgia sells and people are still going crazy about pixel art. The numbers don't lie. You can see here, this is on Steam, and I think that's from last year. When you go for pixel art graphics, you get around 564 results just in the basic category. There's 57 pages of this. There are a lot of games. And just to give some examples, some of the best games in the last couple of years are using pixel art. We see here stuff like Shovel Knight. We see stuff like Hyper Light Drifter, Sword and Sorcery, Broforce. All of these utilize pixel art with different color schemes, with different visualization styles. Finally, before the end of this video, I want to say a bit more what we're gonna discuss in the later ones. We're gonna talk about how we can create sprites and sprite sheets, how we can create little bits of animation. Here you can see how easy it is sometimes, because you can, if you create just a little sprite sheet here, a little sprite, you can actually animate it with not a lot of changes to make a ninja, for example, walk or a ninja jump. I would strongly suggest to watch this video. I would have it in the uploaded presentation. It talks about how low resolution and pixel art can hide some of the imperfections and how you can get away with less work making very beautiful things. And of course, we'll talk about tiles, stuff that with a limited number of tiles, around between 12 and 20, you can have all the tools that you need to create beautiful levels, varied levels. So yes, hope you enjoy this, and see you in the next video.